In the year 2000, a small startup walked into the headquarters of a billion-dollar company with a simple offer: buy us. The price? $50 million. The executives listened politely. They exchanged looks, and then they laughed. That startup was Netflix. The executives worked for Blockbuster LLC. At the time, the decision seemed obvious. Blockbuster was the king of home entertainment. Netflix was a tiny company mailing DVDs in envelopes. But 20 years later, that laugh became one of the most famous mistakes in business history. This is the story of how the biggest name in movie rentals ignored the future and paid the price.
To understand why Blockbuster laughed, we have to go back to the 1990s. Before streaming, before smartphones, before high-speed internet. Back then, watching a movie at home meant visiting a video rental store, and no store was bigger than Blockbuster. Founded in 1985, the company expanded at an incredible pace. By the late 1990s, Blockbuster had more than 9,000 stores worldwide, tens of millions of customers, billions in yearly revenue. Friday nights became a cultural ritual. Families would walk into brightly lit stores, scanning walls of VHS tapes for the latest release. But there was one hidden feature of Blockbuster's business model that made them even more profitable: late fees. If you returned a movie late, you paid a penalty. And those penalties generated hundreds of millions of dollars every year. Blockbuster wasn't just successful, they were dominating the entire industry. And when a company dominates a market, it's easy to believe that nothing will ever change. In 1997, a small startup appeared with a strange idea. Instead of driving to a store, what if movies came to you? The company was founded by Reed Hastings and Mark Randolph. Their idea was simple. Customers would order DVDs online. Netflix would mail the movie to their house. When they finished watching, they would return it in a prepaid envelope. And most importantly, there were no late fees. Customers could keep movies as long as they wanted. This might sound normal today, but in the late 1990s, it was revolutionary. But there was one problem. Netflix was still small, very small. The company was losing money and struggling to grow. By the year 2000, the dot-com bubble was bursting, and many internet startups were collapsing. Netflix needed help. So they decided to approach the biggest company in the industry.
In 2000, Netflix executives traveled to meet with Blockbuster. Their proposal was simple. Blockbuster would buy Netflix for $50 million. Netflix would run Blockbuster's online brand. Blockbuster would promote Netflix in stores. It sounded like a partnership that could combine the strengths of both companies. But Blockbuster executives weren't impressed. To them, Netflix looked like a small experiment. Mailing DVDs seemed slow and inconvenient. Why would people wait days for a movie when they could drive to a store and rent one instantly? And the idea of streaming movies online? At the time, that sounded almost impossible. Most households still used dial-up internet. Downloading a movie could take hours. So the executives declined the offer, and according to several accounts, some even laughed.
From Blockbuster's perspective, the decision made sense. They were making billions. Their stores were everywhere. Their brand was trusted. Why risk everything on an uncertain internet company? But this decision revealed a major blind spot. Blockbuster was built around physical stores, thousands of locations, thousands of employees, long-term leases. If customers stopped visiting stores, their entire business model would collapse. So instead of reinventing themselves, they protected the system that already worked. This is a common mistake for large companies. The bigger you become, the harder it is to change. And while Blockbuster focused on protecting its present, Netflix focused on building the future. Netflix didn't give up. Instead, they improved their subscription model. Customers paid a monthly fee and could receive multiple DVDs without late fees. The service slowly gained popularity. Then something important happened. Internet speeds improved. Broadband connections replaced dial-up. And suddenly, the idea of watching movies online no longer seemed impossible. In 2007, Netflix launched streaming. Instead of waiting for DVDs in the mail, users could watch instantly. No driving, no waiting, no late fees. Just press play. The convenience was unbeatable. And once customers experienced streaming, many never wanted to return to video stores again.
Blockbuster eventually realized the threat. They launched their own online DVD service. They even tried eliminating late fees to compete with Netflix. But the company had a major problem: debt. Years earlier, Blockbuster had been purchased in a complex corporate deal that left the company with massive financial obligations. Meanwhile, thousands of physical stores were becoming expensive liabilities. Customers were switching to online rentals and streaming, but Blockbuster still had to pay rent for thousands of retail locations. The company was trying to run two different worlds at the same time, and it was too late. In 2010, Blockbuster filed for bankruptcy. The once dominant giant of home entertainment was collapsing. While Blockbuster disappeared, Netflix kept evolving. Streaming was just the beginning. Soon, the company made another bold decision. Instead of simply distributing movies, they started producing their own. Original shows and films turned Netflix into something new. Not just a streaming platform, but a global entertainment studio. One of the first major successes was House of Cards, proving that online platforms could create hit television. Netflix grew rapidly across the world. Millions of subscribers became hundreds of millions, and the company that once struggled to survive became one of the most powerful media companies on the planet. Today, only one Blockbuster store remains. It's located in Bend, Oregon. What was once a global empire is now a nostalgic landmark. People visit to remember a different era of movie night, an era of VHS tapes, late fees, and walking through aisles searching for the perfect film. Meanwhile, Netflix serves hundreds of millions of viewers around the world, all from a company that once tried to sell itself for $50 million. The story of Blockbuster and Netflix isn't just about movies. It's about innovation. It's about timing. And it's about the danger of ignoring small ideas. Because disruptive technology rarely looks powerful at the beginning. It looks inconvenient, unprofitable, even laughable. But sometimes, the idea everyone laughs at today becomes the industry that replaces them tomorrow. And the next Netflix might already exist somewhere, working quietly while the giants laugh.